Alright guys, this is probably going to be my last Manny Pacquiao video for a while unless something else happens. But it seems like every other day something else just keeps happening. So let me not say it will be the last one for a while because it just might not be. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike, give it a thumbs down. And if you do not mind, please sub to the channel because that is what helps me out the most. The reason why I'm covering Manny Pacquiao is because of a statement that Bob Arum gave to the Daily Mail. He said, I know Golovkin appears to be over the hill, but it's a fight that could be very dangerous for Pacquiao. He isn't even a welterweight, really, let alone a middleweight. So, this is what I wanted to say in this video. You are right, Bob Arum. Pacquiao is not a middleweight, and he's really not even a welterweight. He's a 112-pound fighter that moved up 8 divisions. That's what Pacquiao is, and that's what makes Pacquiao great. The thing that makes Pacquiao so great is he challenges all comers, and he's always challenged all comers. He's never ducked, he's never dived, he's never done the 4 Ds of dodgeball. Never. That is what makes him great. So I disagree with the fact that he's not a true welterweight. He shouldn't move up to middleweight. Hell, Canelo isn't a true super middleweight, but he just beat a light heavyweight in Kovalev. Nobody was saying Kovalev was over the hill. I was before the fight happened. But you see all the fucking notoriety Canelo's getting for beating a guy on his last leg. So with that being said, why shouldn't Pacquiao go up another 2 divisions to fight Golovkin at 160? If Canelo can go from 160 to 175, which is a bigger leap, why shouldn't Pacquiao go up to 160? Now, I know you could argue that Canelo's younger, and you could argue that Canelo's a weight bully because he walks around about 180 pounds. So going to 175 is just around his own natural body weight, whereas Pacquiao would be going way above what his natural body weight is. But it doesn't matter. The fact is, Pacquiao moving up is no different than Canelo moving up. And to even say that Golovkin's over the hill, then you have to say that Kovalev was way over the hill. See, I don't like this because what it's doing is Arum is trying to throw that out there that Golovkin is over the hill. So if Pacquiao does do this and if Pacquiao does beat him, he's trying to diminish the achievement of Pacquiao beating Triple G. And later in the article, when he was talking to the Daily Mail, his real agenda came out, which was just the sheer fact that he wanted Pacquiao to fight Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford, or Earl Spence. But here's my thing, and this is truly how I feel. I don't even think Earl Spence is a worthy fight right now. I think that if Pacquiao beats Earl Spence, there's going to be a big argument of, well, that wasn't the real Earl Spence. He came back from a car wreck. He's not the same. So I don't see much to gain from Pacquiao beating Earl Spence other than picking up another belt. But again, like I said, I can already see the narrative being wrote that will make that not legitimate. Somebody out there will go ahead and start up and it'll build traction, and they'll just, you got to understand, there are Pacquiao haters out there, and they'll take anything. They'll take an inch and make it a mile to go against Pacquiao. So in my honest opinion, when you're looking at Bud Crawford and Triple G, those are the 2 main prospects. Those are the 2 fights that are going to give Pacquiao the greatest increase in his legacy. Now, here's the thing. Both fights are dangerous, very dangerous. But in front of you, you have Bud Crawford, who is a dominant welterweight. He's been dominant with all the guys he fought. People could say that, oh, in his last fight, he was going to count. Yeah, he was at first. But then what did he do like all great fighters do? He figured out his opponent and he put him away. So he didn't look bad. He learned on the job. He showed that he can become adaptive inside of the ring, which is what a lot of people can't do. A lot of fighters cannot adapt. A lot of fighters can't come back. A lot of fighters can't figure out how to stop getting countered, and that's what Bud did. So you've got a young guy, a powerful guy, a dominant guy who's showing that he's adaptive. Not only is he adaptive, but he can fight with both feet forward, whether it be traditional or southpaw. So that's another aspect you have to look at. For me, Bud Crawford, in my honest opinion, is a bigger risk to Manny. And on top of it, if Bud beats Manny, then again, the detractors of Pacquiao will say, well, Manny was always a worse fighter than Bud. Bud was always better than him. That's why whenever they were both on top rank, they never fought, even when Bud was caught. I can already see narratives being wrote. So in my opinion, the best fight for Manny is actually Triple G. Why is that? Because if he goes up, he fights Triple G, even if he loses, even if he gets knocked out, he's meant to lose. He's meant to get knocked out. It does not affect him negatively. If anything, it's a positive. Even if he gets knocked out, it's a positive. It's in his favor. Why? Because he had the balls to prove exactly what has been proven his whole career, that he fears no one. He's willing to take on all comers, all challengers, and he went up to 160 pounds. Did he fall short? Yeah, he fell short, but who cares because he took on the challenge? See, that's the thing. I believe that a Triple G loss only builds on his legacy. Win or lose, it will be good for Pacquiao. Win or lose. However, a Bud Crawford loss, like I said, will have all the naysayers trying to use Bud Crawford beating him against him, even though he is past his prime, even though he is in his 40s, even though he's not the same fighter that he once was. He's still very good, though. If he wasn't very good, there wouldn't be these talks of him fighting Bud. It wouldn't be these talks of him fighting Earl Spence. It wouldn't be these talks of him going up to 160 to fight Triple G. And again, I have to come back to this because the big debate on Manny's greatness always comes down to Floyd Mayweather Jr. It always comes down to that because that was the other greatest welterweight of his era. That was the other great, and Mayweather beat him. But if Pacquiao was to go up and beat Triple G, that is a fight that Mayweather notoriously turned down. He said he did not want to fight Triple G. He would not go up there on multiple occasions. So this means he doesn't even have to win. Let me take that back. Even if Pacquiao loses, he just proved that he did something that Floyd Mayweather wouldn't even do. So that's another notch that he could have over Floyd if you want to go for notches, because at the end of the day, it's going to have to come down to notches and asterisks of who the better person is. Unfortunately for Manny Pacquiao, he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Now, you could argue that Mayweather is a truly bigger fighter. You could argue that. There's a lot of arguments that could be going either way. You could argue that Manny Pacquiao has had the better legacy, which he has. But then on the flip side, you could argue, well, Mayweather was the better fighter. On the flip side, you could argue all them times that Manny got fighter of the decade, fighter of the year, should have went to Floyd because Floyd was the better. See, there's an argument to be had for either side. And I've already stated my opinion. My opinion is Manny Pacquiao by far has the better legacy, has the better career. But when it comes to who the better fighter is, I have Floyd Mayweather being the better fighter because Floyd did what all fighters have to do to prove themselves better, and that's to beat the person, and Floyd won the fight. Regardless how you feel, at the end of the day, Floyd won the fight. But again, I come back full circle to my point. If Manny was to take on Triple G, that is something that Floyd Mayweather didn't even dare to do. That is another mark on Manny Pacquiao's side. So when it does come down 20, 30 years from now, these guys are long past boxing, long past being able to fight. When it comes down to who is a truly better Hall of Fame fighter, because they're both going to the Hall of Fame, that's without question, this is just more ammunition to make Manny have the upper hand when it comes to the Manny Mayweather argument. That's how I see it. I believe that for Manny, the smartest thing to do is to fight Triple G. Win or lose, or draw. Hell, a draw is a victory. Really, truthfully, Manny doesn't even have to win this fight. He could get a draw with Triple G, and that's a victory because he shouldn't even be drawing with him. So Manny actually has two ways of winning this fight. He could win the fight, or he could get a draw out of the fight, and that sits him leagues above everybody. So think about this. Think about if Manny actually went up there and beat Triple G, okay? Just hear me out. Bud Crawford right now is considered the best welterweight in my opinion. But if Manny was to beat Triple G, not only would he beat Triple G, he would be arguably pound for pound best. He'd be over Lomachenko. He would be over Bud Crawford off of that win alone, in my opinion. So now you have a 40-year-old who is now, again, pound for pound best. Number one, pound for pound, okay? And then he sets the statement. He sets what every other welterweight has to do from here on if they want to be greater. That means Bud would eventually have to go to 160 to prove himself worthy of somebody like Manny Pacquiao, who fought in welterweight for so long. So he would set the bar. In my opinion, like I said, I think Manny Pacquiao's smartest move is to fight Triple G because it does not matter for him. No matter what happens, it's still a win. It's a win because Mayweather wouldn't fight him. It's a win because he had the balls to go up that high and fight Triple G. It's a win because it proves that he's willing to fight anyone at any time, all comers, all takers. It's a win because if he does win, it sets him, I don't know, like I said, a win like this, you could argue that Manny would be in the top 3, top 5 all-time greats. You could really argue him in any one of those positions because there's never been and there will never be probably a 112-pound fighter who's moved up to beat a true middleweight. And I say a true middleweight because Triple G is a true middleweight. In fact, he struggles to make middleweight. So, and if he gets a draw, it's a win because he's not supposed to get a draw. And even if he loses, again, I come back to what I just said. He wasn't supposed to win in the first place, but it proved his tenacity. It proved his drive. So again, in my opinion, with the Triple G out there, the smartest thing for Manny to do is to go for Triple G. And if he loses, it's a great way to retire because he lost taking on the biggest challenge, a much bigger challenge than Bud or Errol Spence, in my opinion. And it's a good way to ride off in the sunset. You could say the fight took too much out of you and you just, vacate your belt. But knowing Manny, even if he lost, he would still fight. Manny's a fighter. So I don't know if that would cause him to retire, but there's another flip side that I want to touch on before I end this video. Even if Manny went up to 160, right, got knocked out by Triple G, or let's just say he gets bashed by Triple G, what that does for him is when he comes back down to 147, those punches that might have hurt him by Errol Spence, those punches that might have hurt him by Bud Crawford won't have the same amount of sting. Because I can tell you, it doesn't matter how much Triple G looks to have aged, his punching power is still there, and he hits a hell of a lot harder than Errol Spence or Bud Crawford. I can promise you that. And taking those punches from him would only get Manny even more prepared for Errol Spence or Bud Crawford to where their punches just don't hurt the same. That's how I see it. Thank y'all for watching. Again, if you like what you just listened to, please give the video a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. And if you do not mind, please sub to the channel because once again, that is what helps me out the most. Also, don't forget, and I always forget to say it because I always forget to do it on other channels I sub to, hit that bell. That notification bell is very important because when I put these videos up without hitting the bell, you will not get a notification when I drop new content. So thank y'all again for watching. Y'all have a good day.